Alright, so today we're talking about Silent Hill F. Before we get started, I'm going to say I'm not exactly a Silent Hill expert. I have watched Let's Plays of the original trilogy and a couple of the other Silent Hill games, but in terms of actually playing the games, I have a lot to catch up on. I've only played the Short Message and Silent Hill 2 Remake before this game. With that said, I'm going to give the controversial opinion that I wasn't against moving the setting away from Silent Hill. I know the series is named Silent Hill, but I really think that would mean the series has nowhere to go outside of like the past or the future, I guess. Silent Hill not just being a town, but some sort of evil force could have given the series some breathing room. But with all that said, this game really doesn't feel like a Silent Hill game, even to a relative newcomer like me. The town in the real world does have similar vibes to the original Silent Hill, but the other world is way off. It has a feudal setting and more fantasy-style magic, and overall the story's themes and its style don't quite mesh with the other games. In terms of the actual game itself, even though it's not very Silent Hill-like, I will say that it is a fairly good horror game on its own. Before we get into the rest of it, check this out. What Happens After Midnight, my action survival horror game, is available right now. You're sent to investigate the town of Night Vale and quickly find out interdimensional forces are invading our world. Hop between worlds, meet strange characters, and survive cosmic horrors once you find out what happens after midnight. Also, any feedback is greatly appreciated. Let's start with the gameplay. The Souls-like gameplay with hard hits that feel really impactful feels pretty good. That being said, it is firmly a Souls-like as opposed to a Souls-like. The combat has fairly simple dodging and only 3 weapon types. They're good, but it really needs a little more complexity to feel like a full-on Souls-like. The enemies are good in a general sense, but there's a bunch of random small problems that weigh them down a lot. The main one is them getting you soft stun-locked, especially when you're being ganged up on in a small space. There's also other things like the grab attack for some enemies being super long range, and that the enemy that spawns other enemies is very tanky. There are only a few real bosses on a first playthrough, but the bosses that are there are good. The puzzles are mostly good, but sometimes frustrating in a bad way, and the objective isn't clear. The inventory management is okay. It's cool that you can sell a lot of different type of aid items, but I think most people will either never sell or always sell all their aid items. The perk and upgrade system is interesting, but it's very limited, which means every choice is impactful, but at the same time, the system feels underutilized. The structural level design is mostly good, outside of the fact that the more linear parts are a bit monotonous sometimes, especially the last couple of hours of the game when they ran out of new enemies. The story is alright, it has decent characters, it tries to tackle some deep themes, but it's spread really thin over a bunch of different subjects and in general doesn't feel as well done as the original games. I also don't like the endings being separated into good, bad, and true ending, and defaulting to bad. I like the way Silent Hill 2 did it much better by separating them by story theme. That was a lot better. The game has good atmosphere, overall good aesthetics. It has good creature design and also some good music. Overall, this is a decent game across the board that maybe could have become a great series if it were its own story, but instead it was deemed a Silent Hill game for better visibility, and unfortunately you'll probably be forgotten about as time moves on. I'm giving it a 7.76. Thank you to anyone who likes, comments, or subscribes. That's it.